Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
There is some indication that I am a reluctant participant in this program today. It's true. Hi, how you doing? I've been in better moods. I've been more rested. It's Friday! Sorry. Friday! I'm sorry, Celine. Blew out her eardrum. Which is good news. That's good news to me. It definitely is. It's supposed to be raining. The sun's out. It's lovely. We've been sold. No, this was, remember yesterday I was sort of being coy and saying, oh, there's big news here, but I can't say. And if anyone has ever learned not to say we've been sold before the suits say we've been sold, it's me, because I was famously fired for saying on a Wednesday on WTAE radio, we've been sold, and getting fired for it because I was going to be fired on Friday for being sold. I just left 2 days early. But then, God, they actually then were not going to pay me my severance pay. Because, I mean, yeah, some people, it's just really. So, yeah, let's see. Who we've been sold by? We've been sold to Eagle Media. And what kind of an eagle is that? Is that a bald eagle, a golden eagle? We don't know. Eagle Media, publisher of the Butler Eagle. I better bite my tongue. And terms of the deal, it says on the paper here, were not disclosed. I bet one of those big terms was, you damn well better keep that wonderful Lynn Cullen live. Whatever you do, do not boot Lynn Cullen live because, well, she has a history of making big trouble when that happens. So you just keep her on. You think Wendy Bell's got a bunch of loyal customers? Huh? Okay. Vernon L. Wise. Whoa, the third? Vernon L. Wise III is the president. So is he the guy is gonna be here, Celine? No, you don't think so. Vance Smith? Wonder if he's related to Vernon L. Wise III, the president of Eagle Media. Anyway, it says here that our former owners were seeking a buyer. What did we know? Oh, it's so funny to be a mere serf. It's so funny. You don't know. You never know. You know, you can pass the guys in the hall and say, hi, how are you? And they say, hi, how are you? And they're walking into a meeting to, throw it all up. It's why my mom always said, better to own your own peanut stand than work for somebody else. But I said, Mom, I'm in television and radio. I can't own a television station. So anyway, I guess Steel City Media, which used to own us as of, well, I'm not owned. which used to own the city paper. Nobody owns me. Which used to own city paper. It says here it wanted to focus on its broadcast properties, which include Bob FM and 92.9 FM. Is that what it is here? Now, you see, I sit down with those properties. I'm down here where the radio stations are. The paper is one story up. So I'm really here in no man's land. I don't know where I am. So this will have to be clarified. But I think at this point we can rest assured that I will be here at least for a little while, right? Because we don't have any indication otherwise that maybe the new owners will decide that having a loudmouth old Jew, making trouble 1 hour a day is a great idea. I don't know. We'll see. It says here that there'll be no changes in personnel. Oh, no, it doesn't. It says no changes in personnel are planned. Well, plans can change. Anyway, so everybody around me is nervous, obviously. People look nervous. Celine doesn't know. Celine works at the paper. I borrow her for an hour or so. So I'm in the middle of a strange thing. I'm sitting down here with the old ownership's prop stuff, as far as I know, but I don't know. And the new guys are a story up, and so I don't know what's happening. And isn't that just the way it always is? The instability of life today. I'm going to go vote for Trump. It makes me angry. It makes me scared. I want some certainty and a strong man in my future. I want somebody to get a handle on what's happening to us American workers, not knowing who even we're working for from 1 minute to the next. Actually, I don't work for any of them. I just am a independent contractor. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? But that's like being an Uber driver. Actually, I think Uber drivers get more. Don't they get more? Do you get any? No, you don't get any bennies for being an Uber driver. What an economy we've created. It really is absolute law of the jungle. It's everybody for themselves. We're all independent contractors now. We're all expected to just sort of create our own reality professionally, work, and people used to get pensions and stuff. Employers would look after their employees, and now it's like, you're on your own, your savings on your own, you're getting nothing from us, blah, blah, blah. You might have a job, then again, you might not. We won't tell you until you don't have a job, and blah, blah, blah. And it's really hard. You wonder why people are angry? However, I'm not. I'm just a little unsettled. So that was the news that I couldn't talk about yesterday, because if I had, I'd already done that and gotten canned. And I wouldn't want to push Wendy Bell off the front page. Oh, God. Okay, so here, let's let me share something with you that I thought was so funny. We could all use a little humor. I thought this was so funny. When I went to the dentist about 6 months ago, and I was, in that uncomfortable position of being, where people are talking to you, and some dental hygienists have learned how to talk to you without asking you a question that requires a response other than, right? And I've got a great one, because she's very good at that. Anyway, so she's telling me, she lives in my neighborhood, and she's telling me about a new app on the phone, which she joined, or which she downloaded or whatever, and it's called Next Door Point Breeze. And what this is this is the equivalent of what used to happen when people lived in the same neighborhood. They'd talk over the backyard fence. People would look after other people's children. And so now in this crazy world we live in, you do it on an app. Next Door Point Breeze. So you have to join up. Obviously, you have to live in the area. And then what happens is people post things. I mean, every day there's 10 or 12 posts. You know, I'm looking for a good handyman. Anybody got any idea? Somebody ripped off my bicycle. It's this, that, and the other thing. And, and I thought, I can see where this is. Hey, somebody broke into my car and took my chocolate-covered raisins. Now, I got to tell you, personally, I would not post about that. I would say, well, to hell with it. But the woman, what's funny is these people do these long posts. The one about somebody broke into my car and took my raisins was preceded by, normally because I'm very aware, I do not leave anything of any value in my car because I do not want anything to be ripped off. And so there's nothing in there to rip off. But wouldn't you know? I get into my car the other day and somebody's obviously been in my glove box. Now, as I said, I keep nothing of any value in my car. But there were some chocolate-covered raisins, which I keep, just in case. And they were taken. And she said, I know this is not a big deal, but just to warn those of you over there around the Mertland area that there are people breaking into cars. So some of these have been very funny. It's a laugh a minute. I can't believe it. But so one came last night that made my day. May I read it to you in its entirety? I don't know. This might be breaking the rules too, because I'm talking outside the confines of Point Breeze. This is really just for us Point Breezers to know. But here it is. I won't give the woman who did it, but here's her post. Just a heads up. A huge wild turkey broke through the window of our third-floor bathroom. Now that's good. That's good. I'd post this. We have no idea why it decided to fly through the window. Well, I don't know that the turkey decided to fly through the window. We have no idea why it decided to fly through the window, but it went head on, crossed the bathroom, bumped into the wall on the opposite side, and then fell into the bathtub where we found it. It was almost the size of the bathtub. It's a huge thing. We closed the bathroom door and called 911. Would you call 911 if a turkey was in your bathtub? Is that one of the things you call 911 about? I wouldn't know who to call. Animal control, something like that. Anyway. Closed the bathroom door and called 911, and they sent out their animal control unit. Okay. Luckily, before the crew arrived, the bird had flown. It went back through the window. It could have been worse, the poster writes. This gets better, I assure you. It could have been worse. It could have stuck on the pieces of glass in the window or run through the whole floor and done more damage. So all is fine and no one's hurt. The bird left a little bit of blood here and there, but not much, and we spent 3 hours cleaning up. I thought I should let the neighbors know. So I have to tell you that we in Point Breeze are now very much on alert for wild flying turkeys. Third floor. You don't think those big birds can get up that high. This baby went up and smashed right through. So man, did this get replies. I mean, people then, start talking. But the funniest reply is the first reply, and here it goes. Very earnest. It seems to me that you have been visited by this wild turkey for a significant reason. Now, I swear, this is no April Fool's joke. I'm straight up front, no April Fool's jokes. This is on my my Breezer app. Okay. It seems to me that you have been visited by this wild turkey for a significant reason. Whenever an animal visits me, especially when the visitation is unusual or completely unexpected, I look at my life and see what the visitation is trying to bring my attention to. I don't know if this is helpful, but here is the suggested symbolism around turkey visitations. Celine. You mean there's books on if you're visited by a turkey? Here's what it means. Here it is. The symbolism of the turkey focuses on the connection with the earth and the abundance it provides. So generally it symbolizes abundance. Connection with the spirit of the land. Nourishment. Importance of community, generosity, sharing, satisfaction. Since you had such a powerful visitation from the wild turkey that cannot be ignored, I imagine that maybe some of these possibilities may bring your feelings or feelings or thoughts for you. Do you believe it? I thought the first post was a riot about the turkey. Then you get that. There's some weird people in Point Breeze. It seems to me that you have been visited by this wild turkey for a significant reason. Although I do have to say, and then here's another guy saying, I had no idea turkeys could fly, but just looked it up, and they do. So, if you think the fact is that what? We got a call? Okay. Hello? Hello?
Oh, hi there. Are you online now?
We're on the air now.
Okay. Can't seem to pick it up on my internet.
Celine, what do I tell this poor woman? Huh? I'm so echoey. Just go to the Pittsburgh City Paper website.
Okay.
pghcitypaper.com. And then look around on that site for Lynn Cullen Live and push it.
Okay, I did, but I don't know. Something must be wrong, but I'll try again.
Try again. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye. What an operation. Hey, I wonder if these new Eagle guys will maybe, if they keep me, they might even pour some money into the thing, and so we can have actually more than one phone line, so you could take phone calls and help people like that before they're on the air.
Sounds like my nightmare.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is so absurd. Anyway, so visitations from animals having meaning. I don't necessarily poo-poo that. I have talked to many people who have had visitations from wild animals at pretty extreme times in their lives when, I don't know, you could say it's just coincidence. I think I told you the story of the guy my friend who suffered from unbearable back pain for much of his adult life, who finally just about to he tried everything, surgery, implants of electronic that zapped him. Everything, drugs, blah, 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 could hardly move. And then he moved to West Virginia, and he met a guy who said, I think I might be able to help you. We got a call. Oh, dear. Hello.
Hello. Sorry to come in and trouble. Why are you laughing?
Why am I laughing? Because something about your voice always makes me laugh. Are there headsets for him? Yeah. Sam is here, by the way.
Oh, my boy.
This is Clarence, Sam. Okay, so yes, Clarence.
No, all I was going to say is the lady who couldn't, because I usually listen through the app.
Oh,
it wasn't working. So I went online. I went to the internet, and it worked just fine.
The app is not working?
Yeah, it was just making some kind of loud, screechy noise. I have the app on my iPad.
I hope that's not a bad sign now that we're under new ownership.
Yeah. I'm glad Sam's there, though.
Why?
Because I was thinking, as you were talking about, new ownership and this, and, if they get rid of you and all this kind of good stuff, you don't need anybody. All you need is somebody who's slightly technically savvy.
I could do it from home.
You can just do it from home, yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, because you know how many, I forget, there's a couple people that got real popular. Just doing I guess they're what they call them vlogs, video vlogs. Mm-hmm. And they got really popular, and people take them seriously and all this kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could just get yourself a nice Pittsburgh background, have Sam sit there, have Sam set it up.
Well, I don't know if we'd ever get on the air if that happened.
Anybody under the age of 30 can set these things up. I never knew how to do it, but I just my 12-year-old niece does it.
All right, he sees that as a challenge. Okay, so Sam can get me up and running. At any rate, yeah. But you said so if the woman is here, the app is not working today.
Yeah, and I'm sure she can't hear you.
No.
Yeah, I mean, if she didn't go online, she can't hear me say it.
No.
But I think that was I turned on the thing and it goes sound like an old internet connection or something. So I just turned it off and went straight to the online thing.
Okay. All
and
right.
it was working just fine.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Now I'm sad that I called.
Why?
Because you might talk to Sam and I might have something smart to say.
I don't think I'm talking to Sam because I don't trust him.
Oh, come on. That'd be so... You got to do it at least once before you go off the air.
Who said I'm going off the air? I ain't going off the air. He said, he was telling me, remember that time, the last time I was on the show, and you said, so what do you think of Saddam Hussein? Osama bin Laden? And Sam said, I don't know, I think he's a pretty cool guy. That's why I will not let him on the show.
But you take away, Osama bin Laden's, evil deeds, and all that kind of.
I'm sure he was a very interesting guy. Yes.
Yeah, if you remember, nobody had those hipsters with those beards before Osama bin Laden. You never seen guys walking around with a beard. Now, you go down to Lawrenceville now. There's all kinds of Osama bin Ladens walking around.
And not only that, let me tell you, the baseball season's about to start, and half the baseball players look like Osama bin Laden now.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that? Those hideous beards. They all got these big, hideous beards. I can't even look at them.
The sad thing is, if you have a dark beard, you're not getting on the plane.
Right.
Only blondes and brown and redhead guys should be walking around with beards. If you
maybe so.
Keep your face clean if you have a dark beard.
If you're dark,
if
right.
you're dark and have a dark beard,
exactly.
They'll go walking around.
All right.
Okay.
See ya.
Bye.
So, I was talking about animal visitations. So, my friend, this guy had him on supposedly it was a chiropractor, but he was a strange chiropractor. So he put my friend on a table, and he said, I just want you to breathe. Because, when you're in a lot of pain, you're tense. You tense up. Every muscle is tense. He said, I want you to breathe. And he had him just breathe and close your eyes and breathe and deep breaths and this and that. And Terry starts doing this, blah, 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 blah. And then the guy starts doing some Native American dancing around him and touching him every once in a while and chanting and tickling his face with a feather and who knows what, but Terry kept breathing and breathing. All I can tell you is that for over an hour this went on, Terry eventually just almost exploded in tears. I mean, all this crap came pouring out of him, essentially. And he got off that table, and it was like, a miracle. It was like one of those, Jesus things where, like, you're healed. And he got up off the table, and they were both freaked out, and they were both sitting on the couch in the guy's office. And the guy got up at one point and asked him if he wanted some tea and walked over to his kitchen window and said, "Do black bears mean anything to you?" And Terry said, "What?" He said, "There's a black bear in my backyard. I've never seen that." Now, this is West Virginia, and a bear could wander in. There were woods nearby. But the guy had never seen it. Here is a friend who has just like exorcised this big black bear, I guess, that had been. I don't know. What was that about? So that seemed weird. A lot of people, after a death of a loved one, are visited by hummingbirds and butterflies. And I have had such a visitation. Sam had it too, but he's too young to remember. Sam and I, after his beloved nanny had died, rather unexpectedly, we were sitting at a table in our house just looking out the backyard. I think we were eating. And all of a sudden, there's a hummingbird comes right up to the window, looking, just like, bzzz, just like a, bzzz. And for the longest time, I was transfixed. I was like, and the bird stayed there a long time, and then, and I turned to Sam and I said, "I think that was Athena." And no, you see, this is why I won't have him on. He's muttering wise-ass remarks over here. No, but I felt it was. So anyway, we were all sort of tittering at the wild turkey visitation being of great significance. But you never know. Ray says the app's fine. Lynn, I know I always complain about the app, but I'm on scaffolding in a boiler house in Johnstown, and the app is working fine. Well, geez, you're in a boiler house in Johnstown? Well, be careful. Sounds like a scary place to be. Gigi says, the app's working. Clarence must be in a weird electrical field. Well, that would explain a lot of things, actually, about Clarence. Okay, and what else we have? Chuck writes, when yesterday you said that you had big news, but you couldn't talk about it, I was certain you were about to pull off a great April Fool's joke. Who, me? I don't do pranks. Never have. And if I had not seen the article about City Paper in the PG, I might still be suspicious of you reporting that you'd been sold. That said, if your show is lost in this shuffle, I'm ready to launch a Kickstarter campaign to crowdfund the show and your blood pressure meds through November. Oh, that's sweet. Thank you, Chuck. I hope we don't have to do that. Okay. All right. If you're getting the idea that I'm avoiding any talk of any import today, you're right. Is there any talk of any import that we should be paying attention? Anybody in my audience go to the Bernie rally and want to do a little report? Because if you did, come on in. I have not talked to anybody who was there, but that was a hell of a crowd. That's why I couldn't find a parking place. Yeah, you can just write something here. Lynn at PGH City Paper. Who knows how long that'll be in email. Lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Or you could call at 412-316-3381. I went to the eye doctor yesterday. And he came in and saw me and then put those damn drops in my eyes and then said, I'll be back in 20 minutes, and then went off to another patient across the hall and closed the door. And my door was open, but he walked in and closed the door, and I heard him say to the guy, so, yeah, that was that, and I could hear. And the guy tells him, I know HIPAA and all that, and you're not supposed to talk about what is it, but listen to what the guy told him. I thought, oh my God. He said, I don't know what it is, but for like about the last week and a half, sometimes when I'm looking at something, and there's a disconnect in terms of what I know I'm seeing and what my brain tells me I'm seeing. And I thought, oh boy, I wonder what the doc's gonna... I mean, that's like nuts. Or that's neurological. It ain't. Hello!
Hello. Hey, real quick.
Yeah, right. You always say real
quick. It depends on if the new owners are liberal or conservative, whether you'll keep your job.
Well,
that's what it's all about.
Well, here, I have this from PJ. PJ wrote, the Wise family, that's who owns it, is known for their conservative nature and and religiosity.
Oh, jeez.
I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, it's been nice seeing you on. Have a good day. Bye.
Okay. Oh, man. Was I talking about something? Did I interrupt myself? No. Okay, so I can't remember. This has to be at least 10 years ago. And God knows what radio station I was on. Probably PTT, WPTT. And I had my nephew on the show from Ann Arbor because I had been visiting my brother and had had a conversation with my nephew that I thought was so funny and such a riot that I said, would you come on my show and talk about this? He said, sure. So his name is Hank, and what he had told me about was what passed for his physical education class at the always progressive and trendy Ann Arbor Middle School or whatever. And he said, you know, they've outlawed at recess all kinds of things, like you can't play tag. Somebody might get hurt. You can't do this. Somebody might get hurt, either their feelings or maybe scrape their knees. You can't, like, pick teams because somebody could get hurt. You can't play. And he was telling me this stuff, and my head's exploding. I said, well, what do you do in physical education class? He said, well, the big new thing is cup stacking. Celine, have you ever heard of cup stacking? You're young enough that you might have. Okay, all right. Okay, cup stacking. I said, what? He said, yeah, you know, you take cups, like those Dixie cups, and the idea is you have to stack them in like a pyramid, and then you have to unstack them, and whoever is quickest wins. I said, are you kidding me? That's physical education? He said, I am not kidding you. It's all the rage. Everybody's cup stacking at recess. Nobody can play tag or anything else. So you got dodgeball, forget about it. So
at recess, me and my friends play.
Say get on computer then. I mean, get on microphone. Here. Okay, at recess what?
Recess, me and my friends.
No, it's not on. It's my friends and I, just to grammatically correct it.
In elementary school.
No, he's got two mics, neither of which are working. All right, forget it.
Anyways, we used to beat kids with dodgeballs in the face.
No, okay, stop. See, that's why he can't have a mic. He can't have a mic. I don't want to hear about it. No, he's not to be trusted at this point in his life. No, he's frightening to me. My job is on tenterhooks here, right? I don't need... Okay, so never mind. Do not give him that microphone.
I won't.
Okay. So, unbelievably, today, the New York Times sports section, front page of the New York Times sports section, a race to the top of the heap. It is literally this whole big article on the now extremely competitive sport of cup stacking. They have like a commissioner. They have the Junior Olympics has it alongside swimming, karate, jump roping, baton twirling, and cup stacking. A guy, an entrepreneur, made this take off. He founded a company called Speed Stacks, which now has 98% share of the stack market. And the stack market, you know what? The stack sets can sell for as much as $60. Now, of course, when the game started, you just needed to buy some Dixie cups. Now, who knows? There are now rules. And here, it makes sense that it came out of, when my nephew was telling me about all the political correctness on the playground and how nobody's ever supposed to get hurt. Everybody has to be included. That's where it came from. Because anyone can play, especially kids who do not excel at sports. Kids in wheelchairs can play it. Kids with mental disabilities can play it. And so that's where it really came from. Small children, low self-esteem children. So you can be like the world-class cup stacking champ, and hardly look like an athlete. They even have a governing body called the World Sports Stacking Association. It is more than a page-long article. I kid you not. I thought, speaking of April Fools, if I could have had Hank on April Fool's Day, we could have put that on as the funniest thing you ever heard of. And here it is, 10 years later, front page of the New York Times, sports section. A race to the top of the heap. Now a part of gym classes and major speed competitions. This is the okay, so people who have good hand-eye coordination, I suppose, can, because Celine, of course, has now gotten a video up of a kid doing it, and he does look really ridiculously fast, doesn't he? But how is that physical education? How many calories are burned? Hello?
Hey, good morning, Lynn.
Hi.
Jonathan Greensburg.
Hi, John.
I wanted to call in and just talk about what a magnificent image it was to see the President Barack Hussein Obama standing side by side with the Raul Castro in front of that giant mural of Che Guevara. Wasn't that just a magnificent?
I did. Yes, that was good. Yeah, but you're a little late. That was
me, right?
Yeah. No. Oh, I see why you're doing that.
Yes.
I thought you're a little late. That was a few weeks ago. Okay, I get it. Goodbye.
No. Wait, I really have an actual serious comment to make. Semi-serious.
All right.
I want to thank Donald Trump. This might be a little more pleading to the new ownership, at least for the first few seconds. I want to thank Donald Trump for saying that women who have abortion, if abortion is made illegal under most circumstances, they should be punished.
Right.
Because he wants to get exposed the massive hypocrisy of the right-wing movement in this country, because none of the other candidates want to go where the only logical conclusion
exactly
of their stance is.
Right.
Because
You're absolutely right. And in fact, you're echoing a number of really good letters to the editor of the New York Times today, exactly saying the same thing. And one Susan Faludi, who's actually a writer who I've interviewed,
yes.
she nails it by saying Trump is hardly the biggest misogynist in the Republican Party. He's just the loudest.
Yeah,
I mean, that
of
was,
course.
Yeah.
I mean, all this falderall from all these so-called pro-life leaders and religious leaders and candidates like Cruz and Kasich talking about how the women are victims and they should be given counseling. Well, first of all, what if a woman has an abortion and says, I don't want counseling? I'm not a victim. I made an informed choice. Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what about that? What about a woman who doesn't involve a doctor? What if she takes some cocktail of drugs or some act of self-injury to induce a miscarriage? I mean, if they actually believe their own rhetoric,
right,
that it should be illegal under most circumstances.
That's right.
And by illegal, I'm assuming they mean a felony.
Right.
Felonies generally have consequences.
Big consequences. So it's not, and then he said, "Oh no, I meant the doctor should be punished," as if a woman is not capable of making a choice.
Yeah, and
right?
I've heard the same bullshit on two occasions from right-wing talk show hosts whom I tried to engage in the issue, which is that, well, how is it that the woman's not a moral actor there? And then, of course, yesterday I actually called one of the semi-sane hosts and raised the issue of a woman doing it herself, self-inducing an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing he did was hold down the microphone so I wouldn't be able to speak again. And then he went into this little tap dance about how, these are complex situations and we have to understand that, you can't treat, women under this duress as criminals. Well, some of you have gone so far to say that abortion is murder. I would guess first degree premeditated murder.
So yes, exactly. So this would be premeditated murder,
right.
having an abortion. No, you're absolutely right, and thanks for bringing it up because actually I was going to share some of these letters on that same issue. But thank you.
I'm loving this. I really have to love Donald Trump in a way because he demolished Jeb Bush, he demolished Scott Walker, he demolished with big assist from his new toady Chris Christie. He demolished Rubio.
Right. Yeah, and in that regard, it's been interesting. But he has not demolished Ted Cruz, which is frightening.
Yeah, that's the one I'm. I do think that when the Democrat, whether the math really does. I hate to rain on Sanders' parade, but I mean. There have been some good analyses that show that just the math really does favor Hillary Clinton. She's got a 230 vote.
I know.
Margin. But
I know.
Whoever emerges, I think, once people get a good look at Cruz, because right now he's just not Trump. That's all he is. They're going to find him rather repugnant.
Well, let's hope. I don't know. I'd rather not. Not take the chance, frankly.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
But see, I don't think Trump's going to be able to tie it up. So I just don't know what kind of turmoil that's going to. I mean, will they give it to Cruz at the convention?
Well, you know what? This is the fun part. If that I say that somewhat sarcastically, is we don't know how this thing's going to play out, and we're going to have to just watch it. The theater here, the drama is compelling. So hey, gotta go. Thank you, John. Appreciate the call.
And thanks for having me. Probably like your last show.
All right, go away. Stop it. Get out of here. Bye. Bye. So, but what John was saying, here's a guy from Connecticut saying, Donald Trump discomfits his party by speaking without filters. And he has yet performed, again, an invaluable service, this time by exposing the hypocrisy of the GOP on the issue of the punishment of women who undergo abortions. In response to Trump's statement, Ted Cruz said, "We shouldn't be talking about punishing women." While, at the same time, Ted Cruz staunchly favors no exceptions, even for cases of rape and incest. How can the Republicans consider forcing a woman to bear a fatally deformed child or the child of a rapist not to be punishing women? How is closing medical facilities that offer women's health care not punishing women? How is restricting the use of birth control methods not punishing women? The GOP aims to punish women every single day. Yeah. Okay, Ansel writes about animal visitation. My brother, 20 years ago, whose wife 20 plus years ago, whose wife was due to deliver their first baby, called me to say hi. He was talking to me from his back porch when I heard him startled. He told me a great horned owl had just landed only a dozen feet from him. 12 hours later, his new son was born. Fast forward to just a few years ago, his son was becoming an Eagle Scout and was required to choose an animal spirit. He chose the great horned owl. And he didn't know about... Okay, the crazy part of the story is the son was never told about the owl visiting his father 12 hours before his birth. In fact, my brother had forgotten about the owl until I reminded him. Spooky? Yes. See, that's interesting. Great horned owl shows up 12 hours later, the kid's born. Cut to, 15 years later, and the kid takes the great horned owl as, oh my God. Roger says, I suck at cup stacking, and when I lose, it makes me feel bad. So there, cup stacking hurts people's feelings too. I'm great at tag. I just didn't tag the kid. I pushed loser geeks real hard right into the ground.
That's right.
My son, of course, appreciated that. Okay, what else we got? Rumor has it. Okay. Margie, you're kidding, right? That's an April Fool's thing, right? Okay. This is a downer, but speaking of, not wanting to hurt kids' feelings and stuff, school is a brutal place. And we have become more and more aware of, especially now with social media, how kids can just destroy other kids. They just can destroy them. It was always not easy being in middle school and even in high school for some. It has to be the worst years of your life for many. But it's worse now because of social media. There's no doubt about that. And so I hadn't mentioned this before, but I see in the paper today that a 12-year-old boy killed himself last week. He attended middle school in West Allegheny School District. And his parents had gone to the school numerous times to talk about the fact that their kid was being bullied at school. He was pushed, he was shoved, he was poked with pencils, he was ridiculed. It was a nightmare. The parents knew it. They were trying to get the school to... And nothing was done. His grandmother said that taking his own life was the only thing he could think of to stop the pain. Okay, so here's what I'm wondering. Now, what about the kids? Think of all the kids that did bully him. Think of the kids who thought it was funny to push Evan, to trip Evan. And now Evan is dead. And because of this behavior. No charges are brought. I mean, I know there have been cases like this now. Would kids, I mean, I don't know how you get a handle on this. Do those kids, if they're capable, spend the rest of their lives coming to terms with the fact that they were part of a mob of sorts that drove another child to commit suicide? I mean, what does a school do? They have to know who the kids were. The kids at that school all know. The ones who did it, the ones who did nothing to stop it, that would be everybody else. The ones who laughed at the ones who did it. I mean, the amount of guilt. I mean, I don't know. How do you punish that? Or do you hope that the perpetrators in this case punish themselves till their dying day? I don't know. But, to read about that is just so, so, so depressing. Jerry writes, Giant Eagle needs shelf stockers in the olive oil section. I need a job. For those of you who don't get it, I totaled a stack of Giant Eagle olive oil the last time I was at the store, causing such the cop who stays at the store came over. There were 20 million people trying to... really, as I said, I have taken up my place in history along with the Exxon Valdez for causing one of the more outrageous oil spills ever. So anyway, well, Jerry, there's always a possibility I'll pop up something. I haven't lost the damn job yet. Hey! I'm still here. First they came for Wendy Bell. And I said nothing. Well, that's not true. Then they came for me. Oh. So I mentioned, I think very quickly in passing the other day, that the U.S. women's national soccer team is suing the U.S. Soccer Federation for paying them unbelievably less money than they pay the male soccer players. And I ask you, how many people can name a male American soccer player as opposed to how many people can name women soccer players? Seriously. Because it is the women's soccer in this country that has created a huge, huge fan base. They have won, I forget how many they've won gold medals. They've won, they're the ones who are driving revenue in U.S. soccer. And get this. If a U.S. soccer male player make it to the World Cup, they get $68,750 apiece for getting to the World Cup tournament. If the women make it, they get $15,000 apiece. Hello? That is unbelievable. And U.S. Soccer banks on the women to bring in the money. They're banking on them to win a 4th consecutive gold medal in Rio at the Olympics. And then after that, to go on one of their victory tours that they go on and fill stadiums left and right, bringing in millions and millions and millions of dollars, which doesn't happen with the men's team. And the Wall Street Journal today just says to the women, you know, your lawsuit ain't going to go anywhere. They aren't going to do a damn thing unless you leverage the power you have. And we have noticed how players, the only way players leverage power to get what they want is to refuse to play. And he's telling the women, if you really want to get U.S. Soccer on its knees, asking, what can they do? What do you need? Then boycott the Olympics in Rio. He's right. Boycott the Olympics in Rio. Now, that's a tough thing for an athlete to do, especially an athlete who is on a hell of a good team and one that is, I guess, expected to get another gold medal. But that is the only way they're going to pull it off, and I hope to hell they do. Just want to say. And Dorothea writes, God, we're almost out of here. Dorothea writes, Lynn, I recall that John McCain had announced that Sarah Palin was his running mate literally moments before your last show in August of 2008. Oh, Dorothea, you're onto something. Dorothea is noting that I seem to lose my soapbox in presidential election years. It's true. It's true. It's when I get the largest audience. My audience grows in presidential election years. Really grows. And it grows because people want to hear a certain point of view that they aren't hearing, of course, on talk radio. So Dorothea is saying, remember that? As soon as Palin, can you imagine what I would have done with that? Palin as one heartbeat away from the presidency of the United States. My mic's cut. I'm off. I'm gone. But that's not what this is about. But I mean, wow, would that be something if again, in this race, which is so, mind-boggling, if I were to lose my mic. They're going to have to pry this from my cold, dead hands. Anyway, Dorothea continues, let's hope there's not a repeat this year. P.S. I know all about cup stacking, she says. Wendy Bell wrote about that young man at the restaurant stacking cups. Oh, Dorothea. My son is applauding that. You never get his applause. Wow. Woo. And he was doing it rhythmically and with a smile on his face. Okay. Margie says, please tell us when your last day is. Okay, well, you guys just stop it. Oh, you're making Celine nervous.
You are.
I am?
You're making me nervous.
I am?
You're making me nervous.
You
Don't
just did a
jinx
jive
yourself.
dance.
Yeah.
You just
I know. I mean, what? Jeez. Okay, guys, that's...
Shut you.
Any animal visitations that you have, I would like to hear about them because I think that's really pretty neat. And I think that ends this week's programming. I fully intend to be back on Monday. I'm just kidding. I never behave well in transitional periods. I just don't. Anyway, bye. Have a great weekend. Go Bucks! Go Bucks! Go Bucks! Beat those birds! Bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.